Just one day away by jet clipper lies the fabled land of Thailand. At first glance, one sees the glittering face of a modern metropolis. For Bangkok is a progressive city, the largest in Southeast Asia, with 1.5 million people, the clean and colorful capital of Thailand. You'll be immediately impressed with the Thai people, cheerful, kind, patient, law-abiding, and freedom-loving. In fact, Thailand means land of the free. Crisscrossing the countryside and running through the city like Venetian streets are hundreds of canals that carry 80% of all internal traffic and give tourists an inside look at a unique country. The streams serve as front yards for aquatic bungalows built on stilts. The rivers that branch off in all directions are highways for large and tiny boats, houseboats, motorboats, steam launches, but mostly high-sterned little paddle boats. This floating market is an unforgettable scene where general stores bob at anchor. Housewives come to market in their own boats, zigzagging like cars in heavy traffic, trading for everything from household wares and general merchandise to exotic herbs and spices and live chickens and terrapins, shellfish, 18 varieties of bananas, and the meat of the barking deer. And of course, rice, since each person here eats 1 pound of rice every day of his life. The seagoing farmers who float their produce to market look different from the usual men of the soil, but nearly every Thai farmer owns his own land. Agriculture is about 90% of the nation's economy. If you just follow the waterways, you'll eventually see the whole country. The yellow-robed priests must beg for their food from house to house as part of their faith. Another Buddhist requirement is that every man be a monk for some time of his life to learn humility and the high moral teachings their temples stand for. Buddhism, though not a strict religion, is their way of life, and the gaily adorned monasteries are the center of their communities, often as schools, hospitals, clubs, sports grounds, and social events, but primarily for meditation on the meaning of existence as set forth by Buddha. It's here we begin to feel we're in a fairyland among the glittering ornate palaces and spiraling temples. No other country represents such a storybook appearance with dreamlike castles decorating the land as sacred memorials to Buddha. Weird figures hold up the towers. A golden girl of their ancient mythology helps protect the holy grounds from evil, creatures of all kinds to frighten away the demons. In dancing, too, the forces of good and evil are dramatized. Trained since childhood, the classical performers tell their legendary stories, with each gesture having an established meaning. The various movements are very difficult for the uninitiated. As you notice, the fingers are bent back to the utmost. Another place of beauty is found in the young women of Thailand displaying their famous cotton and silk materials designed for their tropical climate. Just as the men have replaced their traditional panuns that drooped around their legs like bloomers, up-to-date women have changed the shape of their native sarong-like pasins. The beaches are most inviting, and you can study a variety of types. 90% are Thai, 6% Chinese, Indian, and Malayan. Not many Americans and Europeans, but Western influences are becoming more apparent everywhere. This young woman is busy in the nation's chief industry, silk weaving, world-renowned for its quality. In pottery, too, their native artistry produces many masterpieces for visitors. With prices well below most other world markets and their craftsmanship superior, the Siamese have no trouble selling all the objects they can make. Parasols used to be of special significance, not only for shade. Their excellence was a measure of social standing. A bargain hunter's paradise where shoppers can find the unique souvenir or a useful gift. Old Thai porcelain, Nilaware, silverware, bronze products, lacquer woodwork, antiques, leather, gold, jade, and oriental treasures of all kinds. Finding the right gift is only half the fun. Bargaining is also part of the game. Then one day you discover the perfect present for a particular person. She might give it to him as a letter opener. The old custom of haggling over the cost may be on the way out. Many merchants are trying to establish one price. An extra treat is having your gift especially made before your eyes from the country's finest teak wood, the figure of one of Thailand's most important residents. Traveling into the timberlands, we meet the mighty elephants in action. In this nation, the size of France, 70% of the area is forested, 1/3 of that in teak, where elephants can maneuver better than bulldozers. Incidentally, none of these are bull elephants. They're too ill-tempered. These are cows, as domesticated as Siamese cats. As in a truck, the driver shifts his weight for gears and pedals his feet behind the big ears. Rolling off a log is not as easy as it sounds, not when the log weighs several tons. The masculine half of Thailand is not overlooked. In a park near the palace, kites such as this represent Siamese men. Nowhere else in the world are kite flyers such skilled manipulators. Competing with the male kites are frivolous and wriggling female kites. In the ancient game, the girl kites are supposed to entangle the much larger masculine star kite, who swerves majestically through the sky, trying to overpower the women kites. Another sporting side of life you can see also comes from the distant past, the Thai version of boxing. Here is the most punishing type of boxing on earth, where elbows, knees, fists, and feet are freely brought into play. Down by a left knee and a right heel, but they'll be right back in the fight to give it everything, literally. This sort of desperate violence was said to be the cost of living during the 13th century, when these Mongol people moved from the Yangtze Valley southward from China. Festivals and holy feasts occur almost daily. But this procession is a sad event of national importance, the funeral of a high priest, a ceremony to reflect the life, death, and enlightenment of Buddha. Half the country's 140,000 monks are men who spend 3 months of their lives learning to discipline their minds and emotions. A fairyland, it may appear, with 19,000 spectacular temples in the land. It's as if the entire nation were protected by masses of spears and lances, brilliant gold and jewel spires, glaring giants of masonry on guard, emerald Buddhas, marble structures, glittering mosaics, colorful glass and tile. It's a living storybook. It all seems a fantasy, but it's there and waiting for the modern traveler. A dream come to life.